Hey everybody, Barantos here. So I wanted to make an updated video because the last video I did about this topic was pretty poor quality. I wanted to make some updates and some clarifications to this and add to the bunch. So this video is talking about the only cartridges you should buy for your AR-15 chambered in 5.56 or 223, and this goes for self-defense purposes. We're not going varmint hunting or anything like that there. I don't care about your 6.8 SBC, your 6M ARC, your 6.5 Grendel, your 25-45 Sharps, or whatever else it is. This is 223 and 5.56, and this is for self-defense purposes, or shit hits the fan, or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to start off here with the same round. This is an M193 55 grain full metal jacket. The reason we're starting with this round is it should be your primary round for stockpiling or anything along those lines. This round does better at penetrating steel than green tip. It's science at this point. If you don't believe me, I think like the Wound Channel or Chopping Block or AR-15.com or any of those channels that do a lot of ballistics testing have videos on it. I've seen them. This does better at steel penetrating than green tip. Yes, you heard that. It also has better terminal ballistics and is typically cheaper. So this is your primary stockpiling round, mainly based around price. This is going to be much cheaper than the other cartridges that you will hear in the rest of the video. It's reliable, it shoots great. Plenty of companies make this round. Yeah. So M193 is going to be your primary stockpiling round. The second round we're going to get into here is a medium weight soft point bullet, preferably bonded. So this is a Spear Gold Dot. I believe this is a 64 grain one. But the other options, you got Federal Fusion out there. You got, let's see, there's a couple other bonded. You got Federal Fusion out there. You got the Trophy Bonded Bear Claw by Federal. It's mainly Federal, to be honest. This is Spear Gold Dot. They do this. The reason you pick this one, specifically bonded, is you don't have that jacket separation that you would from non-bonded bullets. So I think this performs better, and plenty of tests on those other channels, like I've said, have shown that this performs better. The other thing that I would add here in this middle range is this is probably going to be your best one for terminal ballistics. I don't have any on me that I found easily. I know I have some around here somewhere, but the other option in this middle category where you're looking for maximum terminal ballistics, maximum trauma, if you want to call it that, wounding, is a solid copper projectile too. So you could look at, Controlled Chaos. Barnes makes bullets for 223, 5.56. So solid copper or bonded soft point bullet is going to be your next one for terminal ballistics performance. I've shot deer with these. I've shot deer with Controlled Chaos, and it lived up to the name. It definitely put it down quick. You don't have to worry about hunting with these. It puts an animal down, and I'm sure it'll do even worse to a person. Heaven forbid you have to do that. So this is your terminal ballistics round. You're typically looking at $1 per round for this, whereas you can get this for potentially, at the time of this video, about 48 cents a round, 48 to 55 cents, depending on shipping, where you're buying it from, that sort of thing. So this is about double the price, but it offers pretty good barrier blindness as well. With the bonded points or the solid copper, you get a little bit better barrier work than if you just had a normal soft point, or let's say like if Winchester has like a deer season or something like that, or those Hornadies with the ballistic tip, like an AMAX or a VMAX or whatever it's called, the bonded will outperform that hands down. The next round here, so this is going to be, I believe, a 75 grain Hornady boat tip hollow point. So what this is this is the heavy load. So you can look at like 77 grain Sierra Match Kings, 75 grain Hornady, anything along the heavyweight side. So what this is match ammo. You're looking at a better accuracy here out of these in general. But one thing that you need to be cognizant of is that you're going to need a better twist barrel to shoot the heavier projectiles. So for example, a 1 in 12 twist is not going to like probably either of these. It might like this a little bit more, but it's going to hate these. 1 in 12 twist will love these. However, you get down to a 1 in 8 or 1 in 7, and now you're looking at these again, and you're getting great accuracy out of them. The other thing is with the heavier loads, they tend to lose energy less as distance goes on. So up front, these are going to do great terminal ballistics. These open tip match, hollow points in the heavy. Definitely Andrew at like AR-15.com has plenty of videos around it. It performs. The military's using their larger Sierra Match Kings, I believe, as well. So it's a good round. You're looking probably a little less than $1 or close to it. This round will be more expensive. The soft point, or the bonded soft point, or the solid copper will typically be more than this. It'll offer better terminal ballistics. However, this might offer better accuracy or consistency among your shots. So you might get smaller groups with this with the right barrel because of the match ammo and things like that. But it's important to test that. So this is your next round. You're looking at just under $1, around $1. So it's a little cheaper middle, more expensive than this. It's probably easier to find than some of the bonded ones, or easier to find on sale, I feel like. So the other thing I wanted to add. So in my last video, I did these 3 cartridges primarily. I glossed over a little bit about green tip. Green tip just doesn't perform great. There's plenty of videos around it. It doesn't penetrate steel. Now, if you want to penetrate armor, if that's what you're going for, or barriers or things like that, then we come into the new guy, the spicy boy that I'm added to this video. The M855A1. So this is a steel core projectile that also fragments really well. And if you've seen any of the gel tests with this or the ballistics, it performs amazingly well. The problem with this is a couple of things. One, this is about $3 a round. It's very expensive. It's not really even sold at stores. You pretty much have to find it on an aftermarket somehow from somewhere. So it's harder to obtain. The second thing is with the steel core projectiles, a lot of companies will warn you, and for valid reason, that this might, you try to shoot a bunch of these through your gun. I don't know if you're that wealthy. I certainly am not, to just be shooting these all the time or obtaining them all the time. But your feed ramps on your AR will be damaged from this or worn down quicker. A lot of your stuff will be worn down quicker because of the steel core projectile. However, this is going to defeat most armors, things like that. Most steel plates, barriers, things like anything along those lines. There's one round that I can't get. I don't think anyone can get. Even the military's having trouble sourcing it. I believe it's an M993. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But there's a tungsten tipped version of this that is a little heavier duty. But I've been told, on the internet at least, that those go for $100 a round and are pretty much unobtainable. So we're not even going to discuss that. So the addition to the cartridges that you should get for your AR-15, we're going to add this in there. One is, it's probably the only one that's going to really defeat armor compared to these other ones. They might get through softer plates or anything like that, but a thick steel plate, this is going to handle it. The other thing is, it does have surprisingly really good terminal ballistics with this round. The way it fractures, the way it dumps energy is really good. So if you haven't, been to those other channels or anything like that, just the notion, one of the reasons why green tip doesn't do well is it kind of fragments, and then the small tip still has all the energy, and that's going through, and it's just putting little pinholes in things. It doesn't fragment as well as this would. This has a little bit bigger petals when it does fragment, and those larger petals dump more energy with them. So the idea behind a cartridge is you want it to penetrate far enough, but also dump energy at an efficient rate. So when it dumps energy at an efficient rate, that's kind of like, essentially the term, like they've said, like stopping power or something along those lines. With the bonded soft point, because it's bonded and you don't have that jacket separating and taking some of the energy away from it, it mushrooms pretty well, and it dumps energy extremely well. With the open tip match, because this is a hollow point, and because it's a heavier grain, it dumps energy pretty well. For this M193, it just fragments better than 62 grain green tip. It fragments better and in bigger fragments, and it dumps energy well, but the problem with this one is it requires velocity. So if you're doing long shots with a shorter barrel, this might not have the velocity on it yet to fragment the way it should. However, this doesn't require as much velocity to still do what it needs to. Same with the 77 grain or 75 grain or whatever you need to. So that's my new video on the only cartridges that you should buy for your AR-15 chambered in 5.56 or 2.23. If you think I left anything out, please feel free to leave a comment. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear why. Because as far as I'm concerned, and as far as what I've seen most of the internet is concerned with, these are the kings. I'll say that this round goes for controlled chaos. Those Lehighs, they're very expensive, but they definitely do work. The Barnes bullets that are solid copper projectiles, those are a great addition as well. But for your self-defense, you're probably looking at this. I would recommend that. For being at the range, you're looking at that. For longer range, marksmanship, accuracy, you're looking at this. And then for steel or penetration, you're looking at this. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave a comment, a like, dislike if you thought this was terrible. Thanks for watching. Take care.